time to review your Action Force, Commander?
Yes, I have.
How many will Sir be requiring for his mission?
Well, I am short of one British Marine.
Will he be needing transport? Or will you base him at HQ? Good luck, sir. I expect we'll be seeing you again.
Yes, and take charge of the rest of the men till I return, Sergeant!
Yes, sir!
Action Man presents new Action Force minifigures.
Hello, welcome back to Blue Harvest Toys. Now, as you may know, I do a series of quick histories on toys, companies, anything really. And as I recently visited the Action Force exhibition, I thought I'd do a history on Action Force. Now, it's going to be more than a quick history, as this line needs a more in-depth review. Now, Action Force was a brand of European action figures released in the 1980s and was based on the Action Man toy line. The first Action Force figures were produced in 1982 by Palitoy Limited and were released in two waves. They were created in response to the falling sale of the company's larger collection, Action Man, and the comparative success of the smaller Kenner Star Wars action figures, which the company was licensed to sell in Europe. The figures are a mixture of historic military figures, e.g. Desert Rat, German Stormtrooper, and of a more contemporary soldiers, e.g. Arctic and Naval Assault. In contrast to the American-centric G.I. Joe figures, the Action Force figures were a mixture of international figures, including British, German, Australian and American soldiers. However, unlike later releases, the first figures were not accompanied by file cards giving backstories, nor were they featured in comic books other than a series of mini-comics that were packaged with some of the vehicles, notably the AF-3 and the AF-5. The first wave figures included Arctic Assault, Australian Jungle Fighter, British Two-Para, British Commando, British Royal Marine, Commander, offered by mail-away offer only, Deep Sea Diver, Desert Rat, Frogman, German Stormtrooper, Ground Assault, Helicopter Pilot, Mission Pilot, Mountain and Arctic, Naval Assault, Night Patrol, SAS Frogman, SAS Trooper, and US Paratrooper. The vehicle's weapons and armour included an Action Force base, a cardboard headquarters with a zipline feature, very much on the style of the Palitoy Death Star. The AF-3, a Jeep-styled patrol vehicle. The AF-5, multi-mission vehicle, a wheeled patrol vehicle with extendable wings for flight and a detachable flotation collar for amphibious use. The AF-7, deep sea diver platform. And the AF-9, Mountain and Arctic, a snowmobile style of vehicle. Following the success of the first range of figures, a second and larger group of figures was launched in 1983. Action Force sales accounted to about 1 million over 6 months in 1983, and the offering was expanded to include a new wave of figures and vehicles that were released in 1984. Palitoy Limited took a different approach with the second range of figures by grouping the Allied action figures and enemies, each with accompanying weaponry and vehicles. Z-Force, an Allied infantry and artillery-based unit. SAS Force, an Allied Specials Operations team. Q-Force, an Allied Ocean-based team. And Space Force, an Allied Space Operations team. The enemies were the Red Shadows, a unified enemy force led by Baron Ironblood. The figures were given comic book identities and were featured in a new range of stories in the Battle Action Force comic. The toys were also supplied with file cards that provided a brief profile of the characters. For key figures, these profiles were expanded in the Battle Action Force comic with their own multi-issue storylines, e.g. the Black Major. A fifth team was to be characterised as a special weapons unit, Initially believed to be called F-Force, later research revealed a pair of photographs from a toy catalogue which showed the figures in different colour schemes, along with the vehicles featuring an SWS logo instead. The catalogue photographs also show US G.I. Joe vehicles, which were released as part of the SAS Force and Z Force groups. These vehicles included a white and grey Jeep, a white artillery piece, and a white missile battery. Both the action figures and the vehicles borrowed elements from the first generation models and the new cast licensed in the G.I. Joe toy line from Hasbro. There was also an Action Force fan club, promoted both on the figures packaging and the Action Force comic book. In 1984, initial figures and vehicles were cast, borrowing heavily from G.I. Joe and Cobra ranges. During this time, Action Force Toylands branched out into video games, audio stories, and cassette tapes, stationery, and toiletries. In 1985, Palitoy ceded control of the European market to Hasbro, following the death of Alfred Pallet, the founder of Palitoy, and the winding up of operations at the Colville factory. Hasbro purchased the Palitoy factory, copyrights, and moulds and began to package G.I. Joe figures under the Action Force brand. In characterization terms, this move marked the end of the subgrouping of the Action Force team, and a new unified Action Force, or AF, also faced a new enemy in the name of Cobra. The parallel comic book storylines also maintain continuity, with a number of the plot lines that blended elements of the second range of figures with the third, featuring the new characters as an international elite anti-terrorist unit of a wider Action Force. The Force was still backed up by the Z-Force, SAS, other units fighting Cobra, the Red Shadows, and even a reanimated Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. Over time, however, the range evolved into an unreconstructed G.I. Joe Force and its enemy, Cobra. The G.I. Joe animated series was retiled and redubbed for release in the UK. Any mention of G.I. Joe is replaced by Action Force. However, the G.I. Joe logo remained on vehicles and equipment, shown in the cartoon. So there you go, a quick history of Action Force. If you want me to do a deeper dive into any elements of the Action Force, I would be only too pleased to do further videos and give it the love it deserves. Look at that video on Action Force, and I haven't even mentioned the Robo Skull. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. May the toys be with you.